to the Made for Business show where Catholic moms come how to learn how to build a business that is simple and holy. I am your host, Sterling Jakewith, and today on episode 14, we are talking about the 2 business killing thoughts that I hear most often. So I'm going to talk about these 2 thoughts. I'm going to talk about why they cause us to lose traction in our business and sometimes even cause us to give up. And then I'm going to teach you what you can do about it. So the first business killing thought is, this isn't working. This isn't working. And your brain has this thought a lot. And it doesn't matter what stage of business you're in, right? When I'm talking to someone who hasn't even started getting clients yet, they think posting or sending out emails or hosting a workshop means it isn't working when they don't see clients calling them. And then when you begin getting clients to call you or show interest in your business, if they're not buying, then your brain thinks this isn't working. And then when you start getting some sales and that feels exciting, and you start spending your time trying to grow the number of people who are buying from you, you'll think, this isn't working. And then I think a lot of moms experience the catch-22 of starting to work more, which is great. The business is growing and requiring that, but then not having childcare, but then it doesn't make enough money for the childcare. So you're working, but you feel like you're having a hard time balancing your family life. And your brain's going to offer to you again, this isn't working. Okay? And it just continues to do that. After you make 6 figures, after you make 7 figures, your brain will offer to you the way we are doing business, the way we are living right now. It isn't working. Why? Just pause for a moment and ask yourself why your brain is saying that. Because you're going to want to engage in a conversation with your brain. You're going to be like, what? Why isn't this working? And you'll want to answer that question. Right? But remember, your brain hates entrepreneurship. I did not feel nearly as much resistance in my life when I became a parent. Because I think biologically our brains are like, yes, raise the humans. And there'll be aspects within motherhood that it might say negative things to you about. But I don't think it perceives motherhood in general as a threat. Certainly not the way that it does entrepreneurship. And so it's trying all the time to get you to quit. All the time. We got to get out of here. We got to get this lady out of here. What can we do to change her mind? And the thought, this isn't working, works really well for that. Your brain's like, hey, let's tell her it's not working, because then she freaks out or she gets paralyzed. So let's run a model on this isn't working for you. Wherever you are at in your business, just think of something on your mind that you think isn't really working. And I really want you to imagine the last time this came up. And it could have been 5 minutes ago, and it could have been yesterday. And it could have been a particular moment when you were actually working on a part of your website and one of the plugins wasn't working or whatever it was, and you actually thought, this isn't working. It's important to know the C line, the circumstance. This isn't working. And then your thought, this isn't working. That's the T line. Then you ask yourself, how did I feel when I had the thought, this isn't working? Some of you will feel an energetic feeling, angry, frustration, franticness. It will create lots of energy in your body, and it will come out either in being angry, maybe at your kids, maybe at God. You asked me to do this, why isn't it working? Or you'll start hustling in your office and listening to podcasts or reading lots of things or frantically commenting. Maybe you create a new offer on the fly. Maybe they need this. I'm going to create this right now. But it's coming from this frantic energy. So some of you are going to have a real energetic response to that. It's still a fear response, but you guys are in the fight category. It doesn't always look like fists up fighting, you guys. But the energetic fear responses are fighting responses, okay? And then the freeze people, right? Freeze in flight looks like having the thought, this isn't working, and then just completely checking out of your job. You think this isn't working, and then you're head in the sand or under the covers, out into your family life, and you're doing good things and you're productive, but you have checked out of your business. Because remember, your brain is like, it's scary over there. We can't be over there. So you agree. Subconsciously, you're like, yeah, it's not working. And then you just go do other things. Okay? Those are primarily the two ways that we respond to the thought, this isn't working. But either way, your result is going to be that your business works less, that you are working less in your business, that you are not showing up well. You will create more evidence that the business is not working, either by working on it poorly with frantic or angry energy, or by not doing anything and just checking out or doing the bare minimum and doing things in your family life. This might be when you're like, oh, I really should start walking more. And walking more is a good thing, but not when it comes from the place of, I'm so scared of my business that I'm going to distract myself with a healthy sounding hobby that gets me out of my office. That's not why we want to start walking. Okay? So just check in with yourself. Write it down. When I have the thought, this isn't working, how does that make me feel? And then what do I do or not do in my business? And then I want you to float outside all of that and imagine it's your brain having this thought. It's not you. Like, we are the watcher of our thoughts. So you can be like, brain, wow, I see you were really scared right there. And you got me to do it, brain. You got me to believe you. But when we can have a playful kind of detached attitude about it, then when it comes up again, you should be like, yeah, brain, I know. We've been over this. You freak out every day. The business is not going to kill us. The risk is acceptable. We choose to do this. And if it does feel risky to you, I do want you to know, where's your bailout number? I ask my clients that a lot, especially when they first express fear when we're working together. I'll say, yeah, what if it doesn't work? How much time, how much money are you going to give it? My husband and I have a very clear, if we get to this point, we're shutting it down. But so then I'm not even negotiating with my brain because I'm like, hey, brain, we're not there yet. So calm down. I love you. Thanks for trying to keep me safe. You've done a good job so far. Right? We want to love our brains. We don't want to be mad at them. But the way they tell us our business isn't working to keep us from working on our business, we're not doing that anymore. We're going to clean that up. Okay? So the next thought that comes up all the time, no matter what stage of business you're in, is, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. And it's going to come up when you start your business, when you try to build a website, when you try to post on social media, when you start to create a webinar or write your first PDF or write a book or a course workbook. Even when you get someone to say yes, you'll be like, I don't know what I'm doing. Right? And then when I first became a life coach and had someone was the first client. I didn't say that to them. I wasn't like, you're the first client. I don't know what I'm doing. I knew I could help them, even if I didn't know how it was going to play out. Most of you have that sense in your business. I know I'm going to help them, even if I can't see all of the details. Right? None of us are selling snake oil or trying to trick people. We do have an idea of what we're doing. So again, why would your brain give you this thought? I don't know what I'm doing. Well, it's going to be a fight or freeze response for you too. Right? Again, either anger that you chose to do this and now you feel like a fraud and you're embarrassed that you asked your husband to do this. You're upset with God because you felt like you prayed and received this calling. Now you think, I don't know what I'm doing. Why would he ask me to do this? So, there might be shame or embarrassment, but that's going to feel like a hot action emotion. You're going to be upset. And it's going to come out in some way. I don't know how it comes out for you. Really think of the last time you thought, I don't know what I'm doing. Right? And then same thing over here for those of you that experience fear and then just check out. You're just going to check out of your business. But either way, I promise you guys, whatever your action and inaction from those feelings ends up being, you will not learn how to work in your business. You will not do what you need to do to learn how to work in your business. Now, there are two totally different responses to this thought, and you can try both. You can swap them out. One might feel better to you than the other. So the first is just refuting the thought. So your brain says, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. And you go, brain, we totally know what we're doing. We totally do. Right? And so that happened for me for my very first business coaching client. Because my brain was like, you don't know what you're doing. I was like, yeah, but I do. Because I'm a really good coach. I know how to find the thoughts that are holding people back. And I know a lot about business. I know a lot about a lot of different kinds of businesses. And I've been doing that for a long time. And I would tell my brain, if I don't know something, I'll go find out. Sometimes I get a client who has an industry that I'm not as familiar with. And I will go research it so I understand, hey, this is what that business looks like, how they grow, where they should put their time and their energy. It is my job to consume buckets and buckets of business information so you don't have to. So you just come here to the Made for Business show and you get the best of the best information that will move the needle on your business without having to go take a bunch of courses or listen to podcasts or read books. That's my job. So you could write, I'm a big fan of writing things down on paper, especially if a thought is dogging you. If it's like coming up a lot and it's dogging you, do write it down. So then you want to write down to your brain all the ways you do know what you're doing. You have a lot of skills. You are very intelligent. You are very capable. Write down how you do know what you're doing. And then when your brain offers you that you don't, you go, oh, brain, remember? We do. So that's option number one. You're shutting it down with your brain by saying, we do know what we're doing. Let's move on. The second way is to tell your brain, of course we don't know what we're doing. We're doing something new. When you start a business, you don't know how to start a business. When you get your first clients, you don't know how to have your first clients. Every stage is going to be new. Not knowing the how is not a problem. We signed up for this. We signed up for an obstacle course without knowing what the obstacles were going to be. So you've heard me talk about a Spartan race. In a Spartan race, you can go online and read about all of their obstacles. And then people have created YouTube videos to teach you how to tackle each obstacle. In business, we don't get to know. We can guess. And you could probably guess pretty well. Right? You could probably guess, one obstacle you're going to face is trying to build up your email list. But instead of going down the rabbit hole of, I don't know what I'm doing, you should go, yeah, brain, let's go find out. I'm going to YouTube how to build an email list. And by the way, one of my tricks for YouTube, you guys, is that I search something in YouTube like how to build my email list, And then I sort it by the date that it was posted so I can get the most relevant videos. And I do that just because the technology changes so quickly. So I can tell when I do that and there's like not young people, sorry. I'm going to say like goobers, and maybe they're not the right person to teach me. I still go look for someone bigger or legit to teach me, but I still sort it by videos that are most recently posted because they'll have the most recent technology. Particularly when I'm doing something for Instagram or Facebook, I always want to know, what have they said about it in the last month? So the second strategy is to just tell your brain, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, and that's fine. Let's go find out, brain. This is the fun part. What do I need to know how to do? And some of you are going to like one strategy or the other, right? Some of you are going to like challenging your brain, and some of you are going to like acceptance and moving on. Notice which one, like try each one and see how it feels in your body and what action you take after that. Because if either one of those feels scary to you, for example, some of you may not like conflict, and even some small amount of conflict within your own brain is uncomfortable. And it's so uncomfortable that then you don't feel excited or inspired or convicted, right? And you don't move on. For some of you, saying out loud, of course we don't know what we're doing, would freak you out, right? So try both of them on and see which one in the moment gets you to snap out of it and move on. So I was listening to business coaching this week, and again, you guys, I probably spend 10 hours a week learning new things because I just consider that part of my job so I can assimilate all that information and give it to you in less time. And this coach said two things that I thought was interesting. One, she said, when these thoughts come up while it's during work time, we don't stop and do self-coaching. And that was interesting because a little bit I kind of had this idea that you did. I don't have a lot of drama for me personally. Usually while I'm working, it usually comes at different times. But I think if I did, I would stop and be like, ooh, let's do a model on this. Let's do some thought work. And she said, nope, we don't do that. When it's working time, you get to work. You may take some notes about what came up, but she said we do our thought work like at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day when we're cleaning out our brain. Right? It's like when we're eating a sandwich, we don't pause and then go brush our teeth and then keep eating the sandwich. I made that analogy up. But thought work is like cleaning out your brain. So we don't do that when we're working. We like put our head down, we get work done. We don't allow, because here's the thing, your brain doesn't want you to work. So it might be like, hey, I think you've got a serious thing. We should do some thought work about it. And then what are you doing? You're not working. So make notes of whatever it is that comes up for you and deal with it when you're journaling or praying or doing thought work. Usually we do that in the morning or the evening. I thought that was a really helpful piece of advice. The second thing she said was, you need to write down your goal every day. I look at my goal every day. I wasn't writing it. So now I've been practicing writing it. Write down your goal every day in your business and why you want that goal. Remember, none of us really want money. We want what the money does. So why? And then write down 3 things that will move the needle on your business. And that was such a great question. And I've been playing with it in the last few days. And what ends up on that list has been different than what I have been writing as my to-do list for my business. Because I know lots of things that need to be done in my business. But when you say, well, what are 3 things that'll move the needle, which means bring in money and get you to that goal? And sometimes it is like a customer service thing. For example, I answer a lot of our customer service emails right now, but we have a great VA, and there's a couple things that I could film a video about and teach her to begin doing that. And that would free up my time. I know I need to do that, before we scale to 1 million. I know I need to train someone to do all customer service responses, so I'm not doing any of those. But then when I sit down and I think about today, what are 3 things that I can do to move the needle on my business, then I'm asking myself, is that important right now, or could I do that next month? And what was so interesting is the first time I did this, boom, I knew exactly 3 things to do that would move the business forward, and they had not been making my to-do list. Just for example, one of them was Made for Greatness has been selling private one-on-one coaching within our master's membership. We have a monthly life coaching membership, and we have not put details about one-on-one coaching on our public website. So it kind of looks like we don't do that. And we decided we would be happy to do one-on-one coaching for people that weren't in masters, just anyone. And so we need to put up the sales page for that. But I know as soon as I put the sales page up for that, we will start getting requests and selling more one-on-one coaching. So it's a very clear activity that I could do that would start bringing money pretty quickly. So I love this. I also love this activity as an antidote to the other things, the other 2 thoughts. This isn't working and I don't know what I'm doing. But if you clean out your brain in the morning and get clear on this is my goal, this is why it's important to me, these are the top 3 things, then when you sit down to work, you don't mess around as much. You're like, brain, knock it off. We got these 3 things to do. Let's go. We're going to figure it out. Right? You want to be in focused energy, conviction energy. I was born for this energy. What are the 3 things that would move the needle on your business? So I love you. Just giving you a big coach hug right now. Everyone has the 2 thoughts. This isn't working and I don't know what I'm doing. They're never going to go away. Our goal in learning self-coaching tools or having a coach is not that those thoughts don't go away. It's that you know how to respond when they do and get back into a working energy as quickly as possible. And I gave you some really good ideas for doing that today. Right? And then I think it's really powerful to write down your goal every day and why you want to achieve your goal and 3 things you could do today that would move the needle on your business. And that's going to cut out a lot of your thinking about your business and working around your business. Sometimes we'll work for 5 hours, but we didn't really do the things that move the needle on the business. So I want you to think about it in this way and see what comes up for you this week. All right, my lovelies, I'm praying for you. Get back to work and have a blessed day.